WrestlePod is supported by viewers like you. To support WrestlePod and the other programs on this channel, visit patreon.com/Ian Beaumont live and direct. We are just hours away from the greatest Royal Rumble. What are WWE going to do in the lead up to Backlash? My predictions coming up right now on WrestlePod. From Ian Beaumont, live and direct, this is WrestlePod. Welcome along. I'm Ian Beaumont. I was planning to do this yesterday. Then I got into the minutiae of trying to predict this greatest Royal Rumble. And honestly, I've had mind bender, more like mind burner. I mean, this has had me racking my brains for bloody ages, trying to see where WWE are going, trying to see where the angles are, the stories. What do I think WWE are going to do? So it's predictions time. Yep. As always, I'm predicting these matches with confidence points. How confident am I on each of my predictions? Yeah, kind of middling mostly. I mean, the greatest Royal Rumble itself, no surprise, that's my lowest confidence point rating, because honestly, there's like a dozen different ways that match could go. It could build and create storylines for so many people. Just in the names that have already been announced. Never mind all the ones that we don't know about yet. So, yeah, that's so yeah. So, not unexpectedly, my lowest amount of confidence is in the greatest Royal Rumble match itself. Some other parts of the card, though, I think I'm a bit more certain on. So, let's start and look at the card and go from... well, I'm reading these off of Wikipedia. So, this is how they've ranked them from 1 to 10, and we're going to start at 10 and work our way up. This won't be the first match by a long chalk. This will be quite late in the card. But it is The Undertaker versus Rusev in a casket match. Now, a lot of people are saying the over-under on this is 3 minutes. I think it's going over. I think it's going kind of double that length. More like 6 or 7 minutes. I think this is... looking at all the matches... This is one of those that has no bearing on anything else. And this whole event is going to be very feel-good. It's going to be very babyface heavy in terms of wins. I can see a couple of three very likely non-babyface victories. But the rest of the card, I think, looks very babyface heavy. So that's my general line of thinking. So on this one, it's The Undertaker against Rusev. Yes, Rusev is over like Rover. But he's being portrayed as a heel. And The Undertaker is going to be the babyface in this. The Undertaker is going to win. Now, I'm not putting a full 10 confidence points on this. Simply because in terms of the other matches, I'm going to say there's 2 others I think I have a little more confidence in. So 8 confidence points for this one. Triple H versus John Cena. Honestly, here again, this Triple H is going to be heel, and John Cena's going to be the babyface. So it's pretty clear to me this is going to be a John Cena victory. And again, it's going to be somewhere in the midst of the card. It's not going to kick things off. But I'm going to give this one 7 confidence points. Because to be honest here, I'm a little less confident on this one than I am on Undertaker Rusev. And it's not a huge thing, but it's like they could pull a Triple H victory here, but it's not one of the ones that I'm expecting to go kind of to a heel. And Triple H is very much always, has been losing mostly in actual matches in recent years. So, except for Survivor Series last year. But I'm thinking this is a John Cena win without that much doubt. A little bit, but not a huge amount. Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto for the Cruiserweight Championship. Now, this is the match I think will kick things off. Simply because the Cruiserweights are high-flying and you want, and especially like Cedric and Kalisto, these two will, if they're allowed to, if WWE sort of let them do it, they will put on a hell of a match. So, and since they're both baby faces, it doesn't actually matter who wins in that sense. So Cedric versus Kalisto, who needs to win more? By now it's Cedric Alexander. He's only been champion since WrestleMania. He needs 2-3 months at least with the belt. In order to make his reign seem worth it. So at the moment, this is one of the ones for retention. And it won't matter who wins, but as I say, Cedric Alexander will retain here. The Bludgeon Brothers versus the Usos for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. Now there's a little storyline playing here. There's no Naomi in this because the female competitors are not allowed to be there. They're not allowed to be actually competing or doing anything. This is why I believe even Renee Young is not going to be there. The pre-show, I believe, is being hosted by Byron Saxton. Wow. That's unusual. But Byron Saxton hosting the pre-show. But yeah, I really think that this is one of those where the Usos are the good guys, the heels are the Bludgeon Brothers. And this is one of those matches that will be a heel victory. Harper and Rowan will win against the Usos. And it will be, storyline-wise, it will be put down to Naomi not being able to be there. Because she was a distraction last week, earlier this week, I should say, on SmackDown. She distracted the Bludgeon Brothers with her entrance dance. And that allowed, I think it was Jimmy Uso, to pick up the win. I loved it. It was absolutely sneaky as hell, beautifully done. But so the Usos here are not winning, and it will be storyline because Naomi isn't there to distract the Bludgeon Brothers. I'm okay with this. I like the way this storyline is going, so I think this will work nicely. It will build to. I'm gonna say I don't think. No, the Backlash has not yet been. I mean, there's 5 five. If I could actually speak, it'd be something. There are 5 matches already booked for Backlash. 2 of them are the women's championship matches, so they have no bearing on Greatest Royal Rumble. The only other ones that do have a bearing are the Intercontinental Championship match currently, and Roman Reigns versus Samoa Joe, which you'll find out what I think about that later on, but I think that will be for a title. My thinking here is that the Bludgeon Brothers will retain, and this will lead to a match at Backlash, where Naomi is allowed and will get involved, and the Usos will pick up the victory there. I know it sounds cruel to give Harper and Rowan just a 1-month reign, but they will have had 1 successful defense in that on TV. So, hey, not too shabby, but considering how stacked the SmackDown Tag Team division is, I think they are going to be very much. I think this is going to be one of those situations where if there's a title reign that lasts more than 3 months in the next year for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, it'll be amazing. I think they're all going to be fairly short. Next up, speaking of tag teams, the Raw Tag Team Championship match. Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy versus Cesaro and Sheamus. Now, there's a stipulation here. Because of it being the Raw Tag Team Championship, if Cesaro and Sheamus win that, they're automatically transferred back to Raw. I don't know that I like that, but it is what it is. It would be the same for if it was Raw or SmackDown Women's Championship, where competitors from the other brand were competing for that title. They would have to transfer across if they won. I really think that here, as much as I've seen reports that the storyline is in place for Cesaro and Sheamus to return to Raw because they've realized they've kind of scuppered their tag team division. Bringing the bar back would bury the rest of the tag team division even more. I think it's just better to rebuild. And then let either the Usos or Cesaro and Sheamus, the Bar, or the New Day go to Raw next year. Or maybe even later this year, I don't know. I'd say next year, after WrestleMania. And then you could have like a decent sort of... But no, I don't want to see Cesaro and Sheamus go back to Raw. I'd rather they stayed on SmackDown. And I think Bray Wyatt and Matt Hardy should win the Raw Tag Team Championships, the Deleter of Worlds should gain this title. Now we get to the interesting part. Because this will play into something I will talk about on this weekend's edition of WrestlePod. I'm gonna do a list of network specials I'd like to see, but I'm also going to do a little bit of a fantasy booking scenario type situation about how Raw versus SmackDown will become an overarching story for the next year. And I'll tell you how I think that's going to happen. Or how I think that could happen. So, that being said, that's for this weekend. But right now we got Jeff Hardy and Jinder Mahal. Jinder Mahal, of course, is on Raw. If he wins this, the US Championship goes to Raw with him. If Jeff Hardy retains, it stays on SmackDown. This kind of plays in to what I think is going to happen in the Universal Championship match later. And I will talk more about why I think this is going to play into that then. Also, this plays into the Intercontinental Championship match, which also plays into the Universal Championship match. It's complex, but you'll understand it when I explain it all, when I give my Universal Championship prediction. So, on this one, I am saying Jeff Hardy is retaining here. The belt stays on SmackDown. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm going to say here, because I haven't given my confidence points on the others. Cedric Alexander versus Kalisto. I'm giving 2 confidence points on that one, because honestly I'm not that confident. It could go either way. Bludgeon Brothers versus Usos, I'm going 6. Bray and Matt Hardy versus Cesaro and Sheamus, only 3 confidence points. Again, I'm not really that certain on that one. Because again, it could go either way. Jeff Hardy versus Jinder Mahal. I'm going 4 confidence points. AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura. This one, I'm almost certain will go one way. But not quite. It's like, oh yeah, this is happening. Except they could do this and it wouldn't hurt. But no, I think this is... So yeah, AJ Styles has been champion for a while. Shinsuke Nakamura kind of needs the win here. I think he will get in another nutcracker. Or, as I'm fond of calling them, a hit right in the old credentials. Of AJ Styles. Yes, he's gonna hit AJ Styles right in the old credentials. And that will lead to Kinshasa. 1, 2, 3. Shinsuke Nakamura being the new WWE champion. AJ Styles will invoke his rematch clause for Backlash. And that, again, Backlash is having to play in heavily into my thinking here, because it's like, we're just a week away from Backlash. They haven't got long to set up the rest of Backlash, however many matches there are going to be. And you expect the WWE Championship and the Universal Championship to feature. Whether the IC and the US titles, we know the IC title is going to feature, probably the US one as well, but we haven't got those booked for certain. So yes, I'm thinking Shinsuke pulls off the victory here, and he gets the win. Yeah, I just see this being Shinsuke's time. I think it really should have been at WrestleMania, but I don't mind the booking that they've done since. And I think, yeah, he's hot. Time to put the title on him. Now then, probably the most interesting match of the night in terms of setup for Backlash and setup down the road. And because it plays in as well to the Universal Championship match coming up, I really can't go that deep into my reasons. But I will explain them shortly, because the Universal Championship is the next match I'm talking about after this. So, you got Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, The Miz in a ladder match for the Intercontinental Championship. And honestly here, this one really could go any of these guys could win. AJ Styles, Shinsuke Nakamura are given 9 confidence points to. This one's getting 5. Because, and again, I can't go too deep into my thinking, but remember Backlash is upcoming, and Seth Rollins is due to face The Miz for the Intercontinental Championship at that point. He's invoked his rematch clause for then. And whilst all the instincts will say that Seth Rollins is retaining here, so that match is unchanged, it's still going to be unchanged, but it's still not going to change participants, but it is going to change slightly. Because I'm thinking The Miz will win here to establish himself as a 9-time Intercontinental Champion. And honestly, I think storyline-wise, it's the best one. And then he can come out Tuesday on SmackDown and dedicate the match to his wife and his new baby. Which will give him a bit of a, because he's playing very tween at the moment. But I'm thinking he's going to stay fairly tweener. Yes, he has a bit of this thing with, but he's still going to use some heelish tactics. Not many of the worst ones, but he's going to use some. So I see him as being tweener now for a little bit. I think this is really great, though, because, as I say, it keeps Seth Rollins versus The Miz for Backlash, but The Miz will be champion instead of Seth. And then you could either book it for Seth to get the belt back then, or for The Miz to hold on, and then maybe somebody else from Raw steps up to challenge. I love the angles here. There's a lot of great angles, and honest to goodness, this is where I see this going, at least up till Backlash. The Miz regaining the Intercontinental Championship. Now, I know what some people are going to say. Well, hang on. There's been a lot of title changes in recent months. Yes, there have. But honestly, I don't think that's a bad thing right now. Because both the US and the Intercontinental title feel desired. They feel like they have some meaning to them now. But because of the Universal Championship situation, well, let's talk about that Universal Championship match, shall we? Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship in a steel cage match. Honestly, it was a shock when Brock Lesnar retained. I did not see that coming. I have 14 confidence points on that one. I've got the most confidence points going on this one as well. 10. It's 10 matches on the card, so 10 confidence points is my top thing. 10 points. Roman Reigns will get the win. So you're saying, well, hang on. You've got The Miz taking the Intercontinental Championship to SmackDown. You've got Jeff Hardy keeping the US Championship on SmackDown. And you've got and you've got Shinsuke Nakamura keeping the WWE Championship on SmackDown. The WWE Championship's kind of irrelevant. It is the Intercontinental and US titles here. But what that are most relevant, because I think probably for about the next 5 or 6 weeks, up to Money in the Bank, the Universal Championship is probably going to be defended every week on Raw. So Roman Reigns is going to come out, be a fighting champion, and say, I am defending this every Monday night. Hey, after having had the Universal Championship not be on television for well over a year, generally, you know, you I don't think you've seen a Universal Championship match on Raw in well over a year, if at all on Raw. So I think for that period up to Money in the Bank, to have the Universal Championship be defended every week on Raw, I think that will be a big, big deal. And that's why I think for that period, shifting the Intercontinental title to SmackDown with the US Championship and WWE Championship, you put the spotlight on the Universal Championship match every week. You put the spotlight there, and you allow it the 6-week run or so to absolutely showcase the Universal Championship. It's a way of sort of properly re-establishing it as the top championship for Raw, because it hasn't been seen. The Intercontinental Championship has been the top line title on Monday Night Raw, really, most of the time. So yeah, that's why I think The Miz is winning the Intercontinental title at Greatest Royal Rumble, so that they can just move it to SmackDown. Miz will keep it high in the card. He will keep it sort of Oh, this is still a big deal title. It might not be WWE Championship, but it's a big deal. But it's still a big deal. Better than the US Championship. They're gonna sort of give it that kind of a hierarchy, and I do think this will become a basis for a year-long, probably more than year-long actually, but for you will have a storyline come out of this, which I am going to fantasy book on this weekend. So, yes, you will see where I'm going with this. Even if that doesn't happen, I will still tell you what I think. Even if it doesn't happen, they do keep the IC title on Raw. Come on, they are going to showcase the Universal Championship big time, without doubt. At least until Money in the Bank. So that's my thinking. So yeah, that just leaves the greatest Royal Rumble match, a 50-man Royal Rumble. There's a lot of great names. These are just the ones that have been announced so far. Daniel Bryan, The Big Show, Braun Strowman, Kurt Angle, Apollo Crews, Titus O'Neil, Elias, Goldust, Mojo Rawley, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, Chad Gable, Big E, Kofi Kingston, Xavier Woods, Shelton Benjamin, Sin Cara, Chris Jericho, Bobby Roode, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Shane McMahon, Randy Orton, Rey Mysterio, The Great Khali, and Mark Henry. Wow! That's already a stacked lineup. And there will be others too, including, from what I understand, some of the tryouts from Saudi Arabia, who WWE have been seeing over there. They will be included in the match, which I love it. You're gonna see a few names, 3 or 4, I think, maybe not the full 8, but 3 or 4, who we've never seen before, know nothing about, and they're probably gonna have, let's say, about 10 minutes of the match each. They're gonna last probably somewhere between 10 and 20 minutes each. And they will have a chance to showcase themselves. And I'm thinking, great. Exactly what we need. A little bit of, wow, this guy is new to us, but we know he's good. And have them showcase themselves. I think that's a great move. None of them are going to win, though. The winner is going to come from the already announced names. And honestly, out of all those names, there are several potential winners who could really they could build a storyline around this victory and build them into something pretty, build them into a huge storyline. So you got potentially Daniel Bryan. A good, that'd be a great shout for anybody. But Daniel Bryan definitely, I think, is right up there, in with a chance of making this victory. Braun Strowman. Honestly, I think he would. He's hot as hell. He is over like Rover. I'm not kidding. He will make this feel like a big deal if he wins. Dolph Ziggler. If they're strapping a rocket to Dolph with putting him with Drew McIntyre, because honestly, that pairing looked amazing this week on Raw. I like the thought of Dolph potentially getting a win and suddenly everybody going, wow, I didn't see that coming. But I think it's possible. I think they're getting behind Dolph again and doing it in a way that kind of feels like it's playing into the Drew McIntyre story, but it's playing in beautifully. It doesn't need, this is a nice little, Drew is right. You guys are so soft that I actually came back and won the greatest Royal Rumble. So it's got great storyline there. Kofi Kingston. Now we know what his role in Royal Rumbles is. It's to provide those sort of funny moments as he avoids elimination. But honestly here, they have a chance to kind of give him and the New Day, by extension, some major singles momentum. Each of the New Day could have a situation where two of the three hold the SmackDown Tag Team Championship, and the other one might hold the US Championship. I'd like to see that, actually. I think that would be a hell of a thing. Conversely, Shelton Benjamin. Now, he's just gone on his own because Chad Gable got separated from him. And they gave him a victory over Randy Orton this past week on SmackDown. If they're strapping a rocket to him and giving him a huge push, which I feel like they are, because you wouldn't give him a win over Randy Orton without it being something of a push. So if they want to put him over as a potential top star on SmackDown, elevate him into that WWE Championship area, this would be a damn good way to go about it. Bobby Roode. Now, not a lot has happened with Bobby Roode on Raw, or indeed, or indeed on SmackDown before that, other than him winning the US Championship and only holding it for about a couple of months. It is kind of time they got behind him, and this would be a damn good way to do it. You could say the same, really, about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They've been kind of stuck in that Shane McMahon feud. They were stuck in that Shane McMahon feud for so long. And honestly, I would be prepared. I think either one of them, whichever one, it doesn't matter. Probably Kevin Owens, because he is a former Universal Champion. But if you're looking to sort of put Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn over as, a serious, credible threat, winning the Greatest Royal Rumble would be a hell of a good way to go about it. The other name that stands out is Randy Orton. Primarily because I never think he is not going to do something. I mean, sure, he's getting to the point where he's kind of towards the end of his full-time career. But honestly, he is still enough of a name that a Greatest Royal Rumble victory wouldn't be a surprise. Might be a disappointment to some, especially if they got their heart set on Daniel Bryan. But I could see it happening. I mean, Randy Orton wouldn't surprise me. I mean, there's a couple of others who potentially, if you were looking for a couple of dark horses, I'd suggest Elias or Xavier Woods. And if you're looking to give it to someone with kind of established name value, Kurt Angle, Goldust, that'd be out of left field, but wouldn't be completely unbelievable. Or maybe even Rey Mysterio. I mean, that would just completely. But my pick on this one, Daniel Bryan. I think he's going to win. I think this is going to be the last match of the night, and it's going to be the biggest babyface pop of the lot. And Daniel Bryan will close out the show. They will give him this big win to say, I mean, there's every chance Big Cass is going to be in this match, and they'll have a moment. Whether Daniel Bryan eliminates Cass or Cass tries to eliminate Bryan, I don't think they're going to do too much teasing of that. But I get the sense that Daniel Bryan probably, out of everyone, potentially, in the match, will have the biggest babyface pop if he wins. So that's why I'm going with Daniel Bryan, but I've only got one confidence point on it. No real confidence in this pick at all, because, as I said, there's too many really good possibilities. And so there you go. Those are my predictions for Greatest Royal Rumble. What are your predictions for the show, which we are just hours away from? Whatever your predictions are, jot them down in the comments below and let's talk about it. Like this video, share it on social media with your friends. Subscribe to this channel on YouTube, the Ian Beaumont Live and Direct channel on YouTube, for more content like this. And also like our Facebook page, facebook.com/WrestlePod, IBLND. And you will see the videos are there as well if you're watching on YouTube. If you're watching on Facebook, go and give us a subscribe and a view over on YouTube as well. Because we need all the support we can get just in building our profile on YouTube. We've got, at the moment, I think it's 23 subscribers. I'm looking to get to 25. So if you can get us to 25 subscribers before too much longer, that will be absolutely awesome. And also support us on Patreon, patreon.com/Ian Beaumont Live and Direct, to support WrestlePod, Viewpoint, and the other shows I'm coming up with. We got a few shows coming up that we're going to be introducing over the next few months. So please show your support on Patreon. You'll get the WrestlePod Club at $10 and up, which is a monthly video where I give you reactions to a classic pay-per-view. I will then do a review, classic pay-per-view review, shorter review for everybody on WrestlePod. But WrestlePod Club, you'll be able to see my reactions to the Starrcade 1983. That's coming up. Also, coming up this, on Friday, 5 p.m. UK, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. I had to work that out then for a second. My brain went funny on that. I am going to be live streaming my reactions, and only my reactions, to the Greatest Royal Rumble. I will probably have dinner in front of me as well, because, well, it will be evening time for me, and it will be, dinner time, so I will probably start out with my dinner. Yeah. So if I do, I apologize. Not really. I'm gonna enjoy this, and I'm gonna eat. I'm gonna enjoy, and I'm gonna do, however long it is, 5 hours, I believe. 5 hours of live reactions to what happens in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia. So please join me for that. Please also join me this weekend for, another edition of WrestlePod, when I will have the this fantasy booking Raw vs. SmackDown storyline, which by that point, if what I think will happen has happened, that was illegal. If what I think will happen has happened, everything will make perfect sense. I hope. So, and also the list of those shows that I'd like to see done as network specials in the future. So, please join me for those this weekend and WrestlePod Club. If you're a $10 and upwards subscriber on Patreon, your support over there is immensely appreciated. So, until next time, thanks for watching. Stay sharp. Stay tuned.